I've been on Ritalin for 2 years. There's a lot people did not tell me before I started taking Ritalin. I went through 4 other ADHD medications before landing on Ritalin. I'm going to tell you everything about my experience in this video. The first thing I found out when trying to take ADHD medication, it takes time. I had been through 4 different ones before actually landing on Ritalin, Concerta, Vyvanse, Adderall, Wellbutrin, and they all took a specific amount of time to try to figure out what is the correct dosage? Is it working for me? Do I get side effects from it? But it's not an instant thing where you go in, you take it, and you immediately feel just great when you're on Ritalin, right? Your dosage may be too low or it may be too high. You have to figure that out. You work with your psychiatrist, you take it, and they start you on, or at least they started me on the lowest dosage until we got to that nice sweet spot of this is the best dosage for me. And then over that whole time, I was communicating back and forth, telling them, okay, this is how I feel, this is how it affected me, this is how focused I am when I'm on it. And all that can be the feedback that you give so you know that you actually have found the one that works for you and the correct dosage that works for you as well. And for me, this is what Ritalin feels like. It feels like I take glasses, I was seeing blurry, I couldn't focus on anything, super chaotic. Take Ritalin, put on glasses, can focus on whatever I need to focus on. So anything that's important and work I need to get done, Ritalin helps me do that. Now, the thing about it is, if I'm looking at something that is not important as well, I take Ritalin, I'm going to focus on that not important thing right at that time because it gives you that extra focus, that extra dopamine that I need to actually make sure that I'm focusing on whatever I am looking at the time or whatever I'm doing at the time. Now, the thing about it is, for me, it takes about 30 minutes for it to kick in. I take it, wait about 20 to 30 minutes. I know immediately when it kicks in because I go from just disorganized, unfocused to super focused for that time that Ritalin is actually working. And for me, it works 4 to 5 hours. Now, I heard that most people go 4 to 6 hours depending on how it is with them and working. And it actually has to do with your metabolism as well. You metabolize things faster, then the medication goes through your system faster. You metabolize things slower, it goes through your system slower. And mine just happens to be 4 to 5 hours for the effect for me. Now, think about it is once that 4 to 5 hours is done, it drops off super quick for me. And I immediately know I was focused and now I'm unfocused and chaotic again. And I have to figure out what I want to do for those next remaining 4 hours if I'm working for an 8 hour job or even longer for that job. So the thing that my doctor helped me out with, he gave me a second dose to take after that 4 hour period. And so now I take the second dose and that's another 4 to 5 hours I have Ritalin in effect. And that helps me get through my workday. So this is one of the things I really like about it because I do get that focus for the complete workday if I need it. If I don't need it, then sometimes I might not take that second dose because I use all that time to focus on that thing. And that second dose is only if I actually need that second dose. And here's something else super important I found out about Ritalin. I take it too late in the afternoon, I'm not getting sleep that night. Wears off 4 to 5 hours, but because of the effect of it has on my body, I stay up all night long if I take it too late in the afternoon. And that is a bad side effect. So if it gets too late in the afternoon, I do not take it. I just skip it for that time period and then go ahead and take it the next day, the regular dose for the first amount of hours that I'm up. And here's some of the side effects I've experienced with Ritalin. Dry mouth, really bad with Ritalin. I do have to have some kind of water when I'm actually taking Ritalin because it will just be quick to my mouth to get super dry. And I do need to have something to drink to take that away. Irritability is another one. If I'm on Ritalin and I may jump off the handle at someone or say something I don't mean just because I'm irritable because I'm on Ritalin. So I have to make sure that I keep an eye on how I respond to people when I am on it. Also, it actually raises my blood pressure some, which is another real issue, a health concern. So when I go in to take my blood pressure, I have to realize if I'm on Ritalin at a time, my blood pressure is going to be a little bit higher. And so when they tell me, hey, your blood pressure's high, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm on Ritalin. It's a stimulant. That's just part of what a stimulant does, at least for me. And so when that happens, I just need to stay calm and be aware that, okay, I'm on this. It's going to be a little bit higher. It's not a concern, but I still need to make sure that I watch it. Now, another thing about Ritalin that's kind of annoying, it makes me sweat easier. So I go do something, come back, I'm already sweating. Doesn't matter how much I've done. Sometimes It's just random. It's just unpleasant. It's just annoying. Just one of those things about taking Ritalin that I have to get used to. Another thing that it actually does, it makes me kind of lose my appetite. Sometimes I just forget to eat at all because of the fact I'm on it. And so I just don't have the appetite. I just don't get hungry to actually get up and get food and get enough food in me sometimes. So to counteract that, what I do is actually go and work out and run or do any type of exercise to make sure I build up hunger so I can actually eat. So I do get hungry, because if I don't, if I'm sitting just throughout my day, I may not remember I need to actually go and get some food until it actually wears off and completely. And then I'm just like, wow, I'm super hungry at the time. But if it's too late in the day to actually eat, then it may just be to the effect that I'm not going to eat this late, or I may start to go to bed and not even remember to eat before I go to bed. So these are things that happen when you're taking Ritalin, when it's dealing with your appetite. At least for me, that's what's happened. And one of the worst side effects for me when taking Ritalin is the nausea. I take it for that first 30 minutes after taking it, I feel really nauseous. My stomach just doesn't feel right. And then once it actually fully kicks in, then I feel okay. But it's just that first 30 minutes is just not good for me. Now, you may not experience any of the nausea, I'm not sure. But for me, I get this super just nauseous when that in that first 30 minutes. And then after that, I'm good. But I do have to go through that period. And this is every day once I start taking it. And remember this, these are the side effects I have experienced. You may not experience the same ones. You may experience more, you may experience less. It all depends on how your body reacts to Ritalin when you take it. So it just depends if this is going to be the right thing for you to take, or if you just feel like there's too many things going on that you may need to take something else. You have to decide. It may make it hard to actually take Ritalin and stay on it. Now, something that's super easy that you can do right now is subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the content. And something else I was not sure of when I started taking Ritalin is how much is the cost going to be? Is it going to be less expensive or more expensive than other ADHD medications I've taken? It's still expensive, just like all the other ADHD medications I have taken. Now, think about it is, it depends on your insurance, depends on where you live. On my insurance and where I live, it's just expensive to actually get Ritalin. When you go to the drugstore, you have to go there. I go there, give my ID. They check my ID. I sign for it. The cashier always does this. Is that the right price for that medication? Are you sure? Then they whisper to me how much it is. It's going to be this amount. Are you sure that's the correct amount? Yes, I'm sure that's the correct amount, but it's still expensive. And I realized that if I didn't have insurance, it would be even more expensive than what it is. And so again, it may be different for you because of where you live and what insurance you have and a whole bunch of different factors. And now something else about Ritalin, just like any other ADHD medication right now, is there still are shortages going on. And so with me, I have to figure out how am I going to actually make sure I get my medication on time. So what happens for me is I actually have to call around different pharmacies to check if they have not only the medication, but the right amount of the medication, because they may have the medication, but they may not have the right amount of it. And so I have to call and call and call around. And finally, I find one, and then I call my doctor, and my doctor gives the prescription to that pharmacy. I have had it where I called my doctor, he called in the prescription and realized that that pharmacy does not have the prescription. Then I have to go back and call him again, and then he call another pharmacy that may have the medication, and that whole process just takes longer. So now I've learned, okay, I'm going to call around, find out which one has it beforehand, and then when he gives me the prescription, then I know this one is going to have everything I need. I can go pick it up and there will be no problems or hassle. So if you live in an area that is dealing with a shortage, make sure you call around first to find out if they have the medication. It's going to make your experience a lot smoother when you're trying to actually get the medication. And here's something I learned before I started taking ADHD medication, is the medication itself does not work for everybody. Some people get no benefit at all. I think Dr. Ned Hollowell said only 80% get benefit from it. He is a doctor and he is one of the people that it doesn't help at all. So what he does is drink coffee instead, and that's what he uses as his way to deal with ADHD. Now, if you're in the category of the people that it doesn't help at all, then you may try to figure out what else is actually available for you to actually help you with ADHD. But just realize that going in, that when you go in to try to get the medication and try it, that you may get into the category of this may not help me at all. I really hope it does, but just want to make sure that you know that, because this is something that I learned. So when I went in and tried to do ADHD medication, I just had to prepare myself. If it didn't help me at all, what am I going to do next? And here is my thought, just something I don't get, is when people that don't have ADHD actually take ADHD medication, because the way the medication works, if you have a dopamine deficit, which is common with ADHD, it takes your dopamine level and brings it up to the normal level of everybody else that doesn't have that dopamine deficit. So, just my thought about the whole situation is that they're taking ADHD medication, and the only benefit they're getting from it is like insomnia, to stay up longer, to make sure that they're going to stay up so they don't fall asleep. And it just doesn't make sense to me that somebody without ADHD is taking ADHD medication. So, just my thoughts on that issue, that I don't think they're really getting any benefit out of it, as to where when you have ADHD, you get a lot of benefit out of it. And here's the thing, I'm not a doctor, so there may be more to it. That's just my opinion. Now, another thing is random drug tests. They are a thing when you take ADHD medication. You may go in to see your doctor, and at that time, they say, okay, random drug test, go in, do your random drug test thing, and then they see the results and see if you are actually taking the medication. I think this is because they don't want you to take the medication and give it to someone else or sell it to someone or anything like that. So they do these random drug tests to make sure you are taking the medication. And so as long as you're taking it consistently, then that medication is going to show up in your system. And so there will be no issues. I always take mine consistently. So whenever they ask me to do one, I'm like, no problem, go in and do it. It's just part of the thing that you have to do when you're taking ADHD medication. But do realize when you go in that at any time, if they want to drug test you, they're allowed to drug test you. It doesn't matter the day or the time or whatever. It's just when you go in, they can just automatically say, hey, today drug test, go in, do your thing. And then as long as you are doing your thing the correct way, then there should be no issues. At least there have been no issues for me. And after taking Ritalin for 2 years, here's my truth. Ritalin is not perfect. It has side effects. It may be expensive. You may not be able to find it. All those things are true that you may have to deal with. And so you may not think that it's worth it. But for me, I get focused. It helps me get throughout my day. And so this really helps me deal with ADHD. Now, the thing about it is, if you're taking medication for the first time or thinking about taking medication for the first time, then it's going to take some trial and error for you to find the right one. Hopefully, this video has helped you understand more about Ritalin and what can happen when you take it. It is my experience, and your experience may be different, but if you like this video, then share this video with someone so that they can also see this experience, and then maybe it will help them as well too. I do have another video that goes over the other medications that I took and how they affected me. I'm gonna put that video at the end where you can actually go and click on a link and see that video. Go watch that video if you are interested on Vyvanse, Adderall, Concerta, and Wellbutrin.